Ladies and gentlemen, before I go any further, I wanted to make this disclaimer here before we get to the topic that we're going to be discussing here. Let me say this. I am not a sexist. I'm not a misogynist. I'm not anything of that negative. I am a supporter of women's wrestling. I am an advocate of women's wrestling. I love women's wrestling here, especially right now what's going on in professional wrestling nowadays here. This is a message that I wanted to point solely directly at Stephanie McMahon, the WWE creative, and to everybody else here that I'm giving you as a food for thought. And also my plead towards Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie, if you're watching this, by some miracle that I'm not going to hold my breath on, that you're going to come across this video, the things I got to say to you in the beginning of the message that I'm going to be telling you in this video, and that are two words. Listen up. And I hope you're hearing this very clearly from start to the finish of the video. Let's begin. What is going on, everybody? This is HDX here, and last Monday, quote-unquote, history has been made. You know, ironically, WWE has been saying this over and over and over and over again. The first ever history will be made initiatives. That's always been said over and over and over again. It felt like it's beating a dead horse by this point. But nonetheless, I am going to go through the announcement that has been just said last Monday, said by Stephanie McMahon. So, let's take a look, shall we? On July the 23rd, 2018, last Monday, Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, and Triple H opened Raw to announce the creation of Evolution, an all-women's pay-per-view. As part of the announcement, it was announced that the Raw Women's Championship, the SmackDown Women's Championship, and the NXT Women's Championship will be all defended. In addition to the Mae Young Classic Finals, WWE.com later announced that the United Kingdom Women's Championship would be defended as well. The inaugural WWE United Kingdom Women's Championship as part of the NXT UK brand will be defended as well. Additionally, WWE.com confirms that Hall of Famers Lita, Trish Stratus, and Beth Phoenix will be taking part of this event. One of the things I gotta say here is, good on them! Good on the women having their own WWE pay-per-view here, or WWE Network special for that matter, since they don't even use pay-per-views. They use network specials, but you get the idea here. Good on these women getting their own pay-per-view. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's called WWE EVOLUTION, ironically named after Triple H's old stable that he used to run with back in 2004 during the Ruthless Aggression era. Ah, those were the great days of the Ruthless Aggression here, where you have Triple H, Ric Flair, woo! Randy Orton, a young Randy Orton, and a young Batista. Oh, those were the great times during the Ruthless Aggression era. Evolution! Last Monday, there was all the women from the locker room here, from Raw and SmackDown here. Oh, there's even Nikki Cross there that had just appeared out of nowhere. Even though that she's going to appear at SmackDown or at Raw, she's coming out from NXT here. And all these women hearing that Stephanie McMahon has announced an all-women's pay-per-view, and everybody clapped. Yay! And it's good on them, but you know something? It kind of reminded me of something here. I tried to put my finger on it. Oh, on a side note, look at Mickie James's attire. I'll be like, seriously? With that fucking Gonard from the Power Rangers attire looking ass? The Scorpion from Mortal Kombat attire looking ass here? That's not a good look for you, Mickie. Who the fuck designed that shit? If it's from you, then epic fail on your part. But anyway, let's move on. Now, regarding to the I'm trying to point my finger thing on it, let me explain this. Remember when WWE always keeps saying, oh, there's history in the making, and they're gonna have a first time ever. They try and make this like a huge deal, but when in reality, it's not even that much of it in substance. You know, with the first ever women's Hell in a Cell and the first ever women's Survivor Series, even though they already did it anyway. But hey, who cares? It's a women's revolution, not the whole Divas, even though they did it anyway. Then the first ever women's Royal Rumble and the first ever women's Money in the Bank and the first ever women's this and the first ever women's that here. It's the women's initiative. It's nothing more but a political PR stance here but they just adding nothing to the table. They're just more focused on the PR side of things rather than focus on booking a better show to help the book better than just hemorrhaging everything to make them feel all the same inside of thing. You know what I mean? In layman's terms, putting on one certain room and a certain category and then just calling it the Revolution Corner. That is not a revolution, in my opinion. It's basically their way of saying, as Adam from What Culture, formerly of What Culture, said it back then, out come the women. Look at all the women we have. Yeah, back during the whole WWE Divas days. But it just seems like it's not a revolution. It feels like a Divas thing, but with a revolution label on it. Now, listen, I'm not saying that women's wrestling is bad in WWE. I'm just saying that they need to tighten up on their booking. They need to book their women properly, but in the main roster, I see none of it. I mean, have they even learned anything from NXT? Oh, wait, they don't learn anything from NXT because they think that, oh, NXT is our little stepbrother. Like, they don't mean nothing to us here, even though they're doing a better job than the big brother, us. Now, again, I want to say that I am happy for the women's roster to have their own pay-per-view here in the WWE, and I can't wait to see here. Except for there's a couple of things here that they said that this is the first ever women's pay-per-view. Yeah, a couple of things that I wanted to point out here is that this isn't the first ever women's pay-per-view. Well, what about All Japan Women's Pro Wrestling promotion back in the 90s, back in the 80s, when women's were Joshi, which is known as Joshi Puresu, Women's Pro Wrestling back in Japan here, with Dream Slam 1 back in 1993. That is a all-women's pro wrestling pay-per-view here. Hell, why not? How about TNA, right now known as Impact Wrestling, with their all-women's pay-per-view, the Knockouts Knockdown? What are they first? All women's pay-per-view that I've seen here, as far as I'm concerned here in North America. But hey, to hell with some historical accuracies, it gets in the way of the initiative. Our PR initiative to a bunch of casuals and little girls that don't know any better. Because that's the WWE in a nutshell. We just only care about our initiative for the hell of it. Ha 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 ha! Because whatever happens within our WWE bubble, it matters for real and it should be. Everywhere else, screw it. They don't mean anything. WWE. You just can't help yourselves when it comes to that. Now, again, I have to stress this out. I am happy for these women to have their own pay-per-view. And this is something for the wrestling fans that they wanted to look forward to. They really want to see this, myself included. I just wanted to see this to be built up properly, to have some good matches, and something that we wanted, something to be built much better, rather than just focusing on the very PR side of things and nothing else here. Now, having said that, I wanted to send my message focused directly towards the WWE Creative and Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie, my message to you is, if you are in charge of the booking within this Evolution pay-per-view, you better step up. You better tighten up when it comes to your creative side of things, all right? And I can't stress that enough. And what I mean by that is, again, stop focusing on the PR in terms of the women's initiative. You can't just keep throwing in and say, first time ever, history in the making, all this crap. Look, you need to realize that you better straighten up on the creative side of things, and you better make this good. Us wrestling fans have high expectations, and you better get this right. And if you don't, there's somebody else who will. Your husband. That's all I'm going to say on that here, and I can't stress that enough. And my advice to you, Stephanie, if you wanted to make this whole PR thing here, to make this a little bit more better, please just be honest. Just be honest. But I'm not holding my breath because, hey, the way that you say things, it just comes off as forced and inorganic. No shade towards you. Anyway, please give this video a thumbs up, like, comment, and definitely subscribe, and share this to everybody you can. This is HDX signing out. Have a good one.